Congratulations on season 4. It's been such a wild ride since the beginning of Barry. I mean, the character arcs, the stories, they've just gotten more insane, and everyone is so excited for the last and final season. What are we in for this season? Henry, if you want to take this one.
You know what? You're in for, we walk out the door we walked in. No matter what the changes were, no matter what people thought, oh, I'd like to be, they ultimately stay who they are.
What about you, Robert?
Um, it's going to be like reading one of those great novels where you have someone who comes of age, kind of like Captain Ahab and Moby Dick. They're like they're made for each other. And this last season, really, the bar is so high, and you see who makes it over and who doesn't. And it was a thrill to kind of watch what we have been able to watch so far. I think it's absolutely brilliant in so many ways.
We're so excited to see how it all wraps up. I mean, it really could go in a million different directions.
Yeah.
How fun was it to bring your characters to life this time around, knowing that it is the last season? Henry?
Well, one is sad because I didn't want it to be. We were contracted for 5. And there was really when the boys decided this is it, Alec and Bill decided this is it. It made sense. Look, I get to go to work, and then I get to work with this man, and then I don't, except that we do go and have hamburgers together.
Yeah. This is my buddy, and that's, to me, is the reward of this whole thing, is we'll get to watch a show, but we've made friends, and that's so good in this business, to carry this forward.
Oh, definitely. And Sarah was telling me, Henry, you're going to be the one probably throwing the reunion brunches. Great host.
Well, you know what? It is fun to be together with everybody. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you grow such a close bond. I'm sure you don't want the fun to stop. You got to have some reunion parties, right?
And remember this, it's not just the fun, it is the human beings. Alec and Bill had a policy, and they kept to it. No, am I allowed to say hole? No assholes. Not on the crew, not in the cast. And so these people are at the top of their game. Remember in the first year in my classroom, all of those actors that had very little to do, every one of them could be the star of their own show. And I was lucky enough to have them as my students.
And talk a little bit about being on set. What is it like working with Bill, not only as an actor, but also director?
Well, Bill's directing was we started off talking about basketball scores from the night before, and and then we kind of like wander over to blocking, and then he switched. He just like boom, dial it in, and we had our form of communication, and we knocked the scene out. Bill's days aren't real long. He didn't do a lot of takes. We go in at 7 and sometimes leave at 3:30. He knew what he wanted. We also rehearsed, earlier, like a theater company, and so we really were prepped and ready to go. It was a group of great professionals. That's a one thing I can say, is that beautiful people were great professionals, and we there was a great efficiency on the set, and it's all on the screen. We get to hold the 4 seasons of Barry, down the line, and see this greatness, and it's going to get richer as time goes on.
Definitely. Well said. And what was the last day of shooting like on Barry? What do you remember, Henry?
I'll tell you exactly what I remember. The last scene, the last shot was me alone in a room. They called cut. I walked through the door. there was the whole crew that took such good care of us for
Mm.
4 years. And Bill hugged me and he said, "Thank you for being such a great collaborator."
Yeah.
And my heart flew out of my body.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It really feels like you guys all created such a close bond.
Well, it
And
all starts with the people at the top.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything that Robert said. And they were also so generous.
Yeah.
Who we were, what we brought to it, and then they would mold that
Yeah.
to the vision.
definitely. And I have to ask, did you guys take any mementos from set? Anything that's tucked away in a drawer that you may have just, slipped out as you left?
Hmm.
Oh, I should have.
I know. I'm just thinking. When a few shows I did, maybe I took a T-shirt once or something. I don't know, but
Now
yeah.
you're rethinking everything. You're like,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I had very few props. I just had yeah.
I would
I
have
just
taken Rip Torn's gun.
that's a good one.
It's a doggone good one. Yeah.
I was so scared. There were so many weapons that my one question every time we started a season was, "Bill, just tell me the truth. Just tell me. I can take it. Am I dead? Are you going to kill me this year? Just tell me. Am I going to last the whole season? I'd like to."
Hey, look, and you're still around.
Yay.
I have to ask, I mean, the show is pretty action packed. Did you guys go through any training? What was that like?
Okay, let me just say, last year I had to run at 3 o'clock in the morning up a dark alley. And then I had to wait because they missed a piece of machinery back at the studio. And then he kept saying, I said, "Hey, I'm 76. It's okay. You're in good shape." I had to run. I'm still feeling my knees.
A year later, still feeling the knees. I mean, they're pushing you to the max, Henry. What can we
They
say?
are.